Namaskar. Welcome to Conversations Rakesh. Here's today's question. Sir, I'm a PhD scholar at a good university. I want everything to be perfect. So if I make even a tiny mistake which is not noticeable to anyone else, like even making a small mistake in my presentations, I feel bad, I sulk and torment myself for a few days. Is being a perfectionist wrong? What should I do? I must tell you a very nice story about how God created humans. You know, there are these devtas in Indian mythology. They're almost like gods themselves. Everything is perfect in them. And each of them is doing something. Somebody is managing the air, somebody is managing the earth, somebody is managing the flora and fauna, somebody is managing money, and so on and so forth. So they are the devs and the devtas, and they live up in the swarg, which is the heaven. And then there are these asuras and the monsters, and they're exactly the opposite. They are imperfect and they do all kinds of bad things and they live in the patal lok. And so God said that, hey, they both are extremes. So let me make a balanced version of the two. So he takes some elements from the Devtas, some elements from the Asuras, mixes them together, and lo behold, human beings are formed. I love this story because it tells us that we are not perfect. We have some perfect elements and some imperfect elements, and that's what makes us who we are. In fact, not only in our culture, this concept of perfectionism and imperfectionism is there in almost every culture. The Japanese do it so beautifully. There's amazing balance in Japanese art and culture. One part of Japanese art and culture is perfectionism. Their gardens, their art, their food, everything is so beautiful and perfect. But at the same time, they celebrate imperfectionism as well. And there is this art of pottery called Kinsukai or Kinsukurai. And what they do is that when they make pottery, it's made of clay and ceramic and it breaks. And they don't throw it away. They don't put glue on it. They actually put gold and silver amalgam to put the pieces together and showcase it. And they showcase those flaws with gold and silver. And they believe that this is a very important character of that pot, that it has withstood the test of time, it has healed itself. This is the characteristic which we should showcase and celebrate. And it's an amazing concept, and you can Google and see on it. It's called Kinsuka. And I think we all are like that, that when we showcase our resumes, are we trying to project the beautiful part or the flawed part or a combination of the two? And we should embrace both. Why do we stop at Japanese culture? Let's look at the Irish culture. There's this amazing story of a person, a royal person dying and going to the heaven. And at the gates of heaven, the Saint Peter asks that, okay, so you have come and you want to go to heaven, show me your scars. And this person has lived a life of luxury, has never done anything. He's like, what scars? I have everything perfect. And Saint Peter said that no scars, there was no battle worth fighting, you didn't do anything. And the person says no. And that's again a symbolic story that when you're on earth, there are so many problems to solve, and solving problems takes time and effort, and you will get hurt. Your hands will get calloused, your body will have scars, you'll fight battles. Where are those marks of your experiences? The person says, I've done nothing. And this is again a very amazing philosophy of perfectionism and imperfectionism, that we become who we are because of our experiences. Those experiences are not always good. We have various bad experiences of relationships, academia, career, life, money, you name it, there are experiences. And many of them are imperfect. We make mistakes. And yes, we do sulk. We feel very, very bad. We torment ourselves because we are human beings. We are a combination of perfectionism and imperfectionism. So we must celebrate both equally. Barbie dolls are perfect, but I think you cannot have a life like a Barbie doll, which is perfect. Porcelain finish, not a scratch or blemish, everything to the T. That is a doll fantasy world. Life is full of mistakes, full of flaws, and you must learn to embrace it. Just last week, something very strange happened. I made a presentation in front of my clients, and it was a disaster. I can't tell you what a terrible presentation it was, and I blogged on it, and I'll share the link after this video. But this is how I deal with my torment. I torment myself and I write. So that's my coping mechanism. And when I write, I feel liberated. And once I blocked it out, I felt normal. My colleagues and friends and all of you wrote comments. Many of you sent me your love and wishes. I felt very good. My wife and my family made some amazing sweet that I like. That's how I cope. And I flunked my PhD and I wrote a big blog called Wallowing in the Trough of Sorrow. And I encourage you to realize this, that you are a PhD student. You will go through a lot of days where things will not be perfect, and you will go through a tormenting process. It's okay. Let those emotions be there. Uh, Make sure that you are aware of what emotions, what triggered those torment, and deal with it as you go along, and see if you can then start coming out of it and find your coping mechanism. Coping mechanism is about doing certain things that help you deal with the distress that you are going through and then finding a way to move on. For some, it is working harder. For some, it is taking a break and going for a long walk or a gym or maybe watching a movie. For some, it is punishing ourselves. But please remember, when you torment yourself a lot more, you will end up creating mental unwellness because you'll get stressed. You will blame yourself. This will impact your self confidence and self esteem as well. Choice is yours. You must be a perfectionist because your work will need that kind of perfection. For example, you're a PhD scholar researching the pharma industry and you want to find this solution to COVID 19. You can't make too many mistakes, but then remember, it's not just you who's working on it. There's an army of other scientists, there are processes. Take help of all of them. Don't make it on your shoulder that I must be perfect. You do your best. If you're working in the industry of space, your research is very important because somebody will land on the moon or Mars because of your research. And you must be perfect, otherwise, that person will die. But again, it's not just you. So, here are my suggestions for you. One, please don't hold yourself accountable to solve the world hunger. You do your bit, try your best. Number two, it is normal to fail and torment yourself. The question is, how long do you want to torment yourself, and is it worth doing it? Because you are spending your precious mental wellness. You are going through depression, you are feeling guilty, all those emotions will eat into your self confidence and self esteem, which can push you further down into a vicious cycle of depression. You decide. And last not least, once you're aware of your triggers and emotions, learn to have a coping mechanism. And a coping mechanism is nothing but a set of finite activities that give you hope, that let you come out of it, and then gives you a path to move forward. And in this journey, don't be alone. Take someone's help. If you have a friend, a counselor, a journal, a family member who can guide you through this process, don't hesitate to ask for help. And on that note, please make lots of scars of your life, show it to your people. I think you'll have a great career if you liberate yourself from being a perfectionist to a person who tries their best and still revels in all those mistakes you have made, because those mistakes and experiences and flaws is what will define your future success. Stay safe.